I'm Francesca La Morgia. I'm the founder of the Mother Tongues Festival, which started in 2018 and is expanding. It's a festival based in Dublin, and it focuses on bringing linguistic diversity as a focus of the discussion and the debate around our identities and around today's Ireland.
So, Francesca, how are you feeling as this festival comes to a close? How are you feeling about the festival?
Right now, the festival has been over for about 10 days. So the feeling right now is mixed, of course. It's a little bit like when you teach, and while you're teaching or when you're performing, you feel a lot of emotions, and then you leave the room and you're left with your own thoughts. So this phase now is really a moment of reflection on what we liked, what I liked, what people said about certain things. So actually, we're going to start looking at the feedback from participants, having conversations with the artists. I'm also aware that it was the first time we did an online festival, and we weren't fully sure about what could happen. But at the same time, the festival landed in a week when the shops were reopening, when society was reopening. And sometimes you measure your audiences, and you kind of think that something is good if people come to it. But then in this online space, we are not sure yet, because we haven't really fully gathered all the information as to what made people want to come, what stopped people from coming, what the people who came, what did they enjoy, and so on and so forth. And also, because we have the opportunity, and the pandemic has given us the opportunity to rethink how we do things, then my main thought at this time is, if we need to make things better and really maybe radically change, what is this radical change going to look like? And this takes time. It takes a lot of time to really think in such a way that when you make a change, it's real change. It's not just a little adaptation of what you've done up until now. So that's where we're at the moment.
Let's talk about learning. What have you learned so far, maybe from the last time that you were able to apply this time, and something new also that you've learned that you would like to do for the next time? And this learning, Francesca, could be related to the festival. It could be related to your own identity or
Yeah.
anything.
I think the most valuable lesson in the last 2 years, especially, has been just the amount of time it takes to build trust and relationships with people. Sometimes people associate mother tongues or events that involve participation as, oh, this is a nice community event. And maybe there is a sense in general that if something involves a community or a migrant community, I don't know, maybe it's not given as much value in the actual, in the time it takes to make something together that is meaningful and that involves as many people as possible. But I've also learned that it takes a long, long time to work with individuals and with groups. And everybody who does this kind of work knows it. But my biggest learning, maybe in this regard, is to actually value the time spent having a coffee with someone and understanding why this person is thinking in a certain way or behaving in a certain way, or why the person wants to participate in a way that I didn't expect. I think it takes many conversations for it to be really meaningful and to come across as being truth, true, sorry, true to its values. So that's been maybe my biggest learning, because at the beginning I might have come at it thinking, well, this can be done because you can replicate a pattern, but actually you cannot replicate a pattern because every person is different. So that would be something that I've learned.
Yeah, that's really special. I've learned that too. The biggest yay moments or biggest nay moments that you've had
This year, or
in the last year with the build up to the festival? Yeah.
um, my I think if we remove the festival itself from the year, because actually, the year of preparation uh, is almost the highlight, And I suppose for me, the lowest moment was around the end of January, when kind of it was announced that schools were not going to reopen. And so I was at home with 3 children, and venues didn't know whether they were going to be able to host a festival in May. And they were being quite honest with us, saying, well, it looks like we're not going to be open in the foreseeable future. So don't count on us from a space point of view. All the plans for the outdoor stuff, we thought, well, but we may not be allowed to have more than 10 people outside. And so even though the festival date had been moved to May to facilitate maybe more outdoor experiences, at some point at the end of January, I thought I just fooled myself thinking that we could have something, that we would come together. And if we can't, what is the goal of the festival? If we can't come together and if we have to be on Zoom, how do we maintain the values and the goals of the festival rather than just doing something on Zoom for the sake of it? Uh, and so that was probably the lowest moment when I thought we shouldn't have done this at all. And but at the same time, we had a couple of meetings with the board, with the group of the steering group, and I thought, actually, I'm not on my own. There's a lot of people who believe in this, so this is already positive. The conversations with the artists are positive. They want to keep going, and so maybe I could be low for a week, and that's also quite acceptable. you know but it's bigger than just me and a couple of people. So that is the biggest realization, I think. From something really negative, which was like, oh, well, there's ruins here. How do we rebuild? Um, Came the realization that for this is not just a small project, it's something that has a really huge potential. And the more people get involved, the more people believe in it, the better it will become. And so that keeps me really motivated, and it's very positive.
That's amazing. That really is amazing.